Mexican people always believe that the origin of the people in this country it is Asia, right? We say the last ice age.
Mayans depicted themselves, and it does not resemble today's Hispanic population or Mexican population, banana pack murals. You see these people with locks, head wraps, Negroid feature. These people don't look Asian to me. They don't look Mongoloid in phenotype. Now you will see a lot of Mayan replicas. These were not painted by Mayans. These are not authentic Mayan murals. They'll make these replicas to fit the Hispanic population. But when we look at the murals, they look completely opposite. Now look at this mural and look at this replica. And I ask you, what's real? Cause I need y'all to think, and I really need y'all to use y'all brains right now. Cause we finna use common sense. Cause you can use common sense. They'll show you these replicas and say, oh, this is Aztec and Mayan culture. But the Mayans themselves depicted themselves as being a Negroid phenotype. Now I need y'all to think. When we look in America, all over America, in every city, you see everywhere in America, every city you see brothers with dreads, locks. Where else in the world is they wearing locks at? Before I speak on this image, I want to thank Dr. Ali Muhammad, because without him I wouldn't even known about this. Dr. Ali Muhammad said he got this out the Smithsonian. He paid about $700 for this book. But let's get to it. Let's get to work. Let's talk about it now. Sacrifice of light-skinned, light-haired seafarers. The artists or priests who decorated this important Mayan temple long before the arrival of Christopher Columbus were all well acquainted with the fact that they're excited with individuals or a people with race traits different from their own. The problem is, who were they? Clearly saying that these people were well aware of different race traits. So you got these people from wherever they came from. These people that they are taking captive represent the present day population, or the people you call Mexican, Hispanic. These people are your Afro-Mexicans or your quote-unquote African-Americans, your indigenous people of America. Now when I first seen this mural right here, now this is the Mayans. They're tying up these pale-skinned invaders. And when I thought this, okay, this gotta be the Neanderthal right here. Cause these people have blonde hair and a ruddy skin. So, I have actually even seen Mexicans with the same features as the people that's being tied up and getting ready to get sacrificed. In this mural, I've seen Mexicans that look like these people. So, this is the Neanderthal and this is the Disanova. And you could pretty much get an idea who the people were. Now you see your Aztec. Now this is an Aztec temple. Now you see the brothers with the feathers. You even see some of the brothers in a Muslim-ish garb. This is in ancient Mexico. This is what they are hiding. This is Mexico before the conquistadors colonized it. Now you gotta understand, you had enemies of the Aztec, which were pre-Columbian invaders, or what you'll call present-day population. However, they sided with the Spanish against the Black Aztec to help overthrow their rulership elite. And the slave or the prisoner they got captive, and what you see is the Black Aztec right here. This is what you call present-day Negro, Black African-American man. And his captive, these captives that they got, these are your present-day Mexican, Hispanic people. What y'all gotta understand is, the people that you see right here helped the Spaniards overthrow the Black Aztec in Mexico. You have Achua, the Mayan deity of chocolate, or coca, and he has his gold-tipped spear and his jaguar fur on. A quote-unquote black god, ancient Mexico. This is in Guatemala. Now Guatemala is next to Honduras, where Dr. Sebi is from. Dr. Sebi's from Honduras. That's that whole Mayan, Olmec territory, ancient Mexico. And I see a lot between Dr. Sebi and this Mayan deity. You see, it's a strong resemblance. Now, this is my question for the Hispanic community, the Native American community. Now, I'm just asking a question, and this is for everybody. This is a common sense challenge. I need everybody to think. Now, as I make my point on what I'm going to say, is it a coincidence that when you look at these old Mayan murals, Aztec codex, you happen to see the people, the higher or the rulership happen to have dark skin. They happen to look black. And the captives or the slaves happen to be pale. I'm just saying, is this a coincidence? I need everybody to think. I'm seeing this pattern in ancient Mexico. These dark-skinned black men taking pale-skinned captives. Is this a coincidence that the elite all happen to be very melanated, very dark? Is this a question? Is this something to think about? The name of this is Native Americans Give Gifts to Thomas Gage. These are the Pokemon Mayans in Mexico, in Guatemala. Now, when you look down, you'll see a brother down. He has an afro, dark-skinned Negroid feature. So it's not even up for debate. Now, when you look up, you have an Indian with him, and these are there's a Dominican friar. I forgot his name, but this is these are your conquistadors. Pretty much, this is your population in Mexico when the Spaniards arrived here.
Talking about the Olmec heads, right?
Yes.
Those made with the basaltic, rock, right?
Sí.
And I guess you know which is the point. The mystery, it is that those Olmec heads showing us none of the features. Can I say that? Physical characteristics quite different to the rest of the people we have in this country, right?
Yeah. Clay head from La Venta, Tabasco, showing kinky hair, pre-classic. I instantly seen the phenotypes on this ancient Mexican head, and I instantly know, okay, this is what this person would look like in the 21st century. And these are the phenotypes. And now this woman happens to be from Cuba. I believe she's Cuban. And that's another territory of that whole, extension of that whole Mayan Olmec paradigm in itself. One thing to say that these people got into Mexico and Central America through the slave trade. But it's another thing when you have the evidence saying different. Because when you look at all these ancient Mexican figurines, BC time, all Negroid. I have not seen anything Asian. None of them Mongoloid. You see what I'm saying? So these people, all these other people, clearly came from somewhere else at a later time. And when you look at the Temple of the Warriors in Chichen Itza, you clearly see how they got here. You see what I'm saying? I stumbled across this picture right here of these Belizean people. And I instantly knew this was identical to the ancient Mayan ruins that I've seen in Mexico. And it's like, these are the same people, but you gotta understand what they do is they'll Africanize it. They have to hide the history of the people. So they'll say, well, these are Afro-Belizean or Afro-Honduran or Guatemala. They have to Africanize it. And then they'll take the people of Asian descent, of early invaders of the Americas. They'll say, well, these are the Mayans. These people who clearly have no resemblance to these ancient ruins and murals in Mexico. This is from the Arnoldus Montanus book, The New and Unknown World. This is from the first ever depiction of indigenous people of the Americas. Now you see these Aztecs, they're meeting Hernan Cortez, the conquistador, and the Spaniards. And this is by the ancient volcano they had. You see these brothers? Now, when you look at these Nicaraguan women in Central America, these indigenous beauties, when you look at these beautiful women of Nicaragua, you can get an idea what the population looked like in ancient Mexico. And get to be able to distinguish the indigenous people. These are the American Indians. And this is a Mosquito Indian, of the Mosquito tribe. And this is another picture of, it says, Indians using bow and arrow in southern Mexico. Now, we know they're going to deny this to the grave, but you get an idea what the population looked like. And these brothers was probably in somewhere rural where they couldn't make contact with Spaniards or white people, so they was probably able to preserve their identity and who they are. I talked about this years ago. This is nothing new to me. I really talked about this. I want to give respect to Sister Yafa Bay, because I remember she even mentioned the panther being the indigenous cat of America. All due respect. Now, years ago, I had made this photo, and I have the Olmec head and the panther, and then I have the Egyptian and the lion, because the jaguar panther being the indigenous cat of the Americas, and the lion being the cat of Africa, and the tiger of China, Asia. Now, Stan Lee, what he did was look at these ancient American culture in Mexico, the deities throughout the Aztec, Maya, Olmec, and what he did was put an African twist on things. He just Africanized it. Then you got Wakanda, that being the deity in the plains throughout the Plains tribes and the Algonquin. So it's in you to gravitate to that, because that's America. That's ancient America. That's you. That's what you are. They like they always do, they have to put an African spin on it. But Wakanda is within you. That isn't here in America. We don't know our history, so, they'll put Africanize it, what I mean? That's what they do. That's what they have to do. What they'll do is, they really laughing at us. They're like, dumb niggas don't know their history. So we're going to Africanize it. And they'll laugh at you and collect money. Not knowing that Wakanda is a deity throughout the plains, the Dakotas, Algonquin nations, the Osage. Not knowing that. And not knowing the symbolism of the jaguar, the panther, the Americas.
To examine closely at leisure all the pieces in that collection. It is a priceless collection, and many of you have raised the question which must be pursued: what will happen when von Wutenow, who is now 84, dies? What will happen to a collection which is of tremendous significance for us blacks throughout the third world? Because the likelihood is, as has happened in previous centuries, the likelihood is that all of these marvelous pieces which we have seen, and which we have not yet had time to photograph completely and to preserve, may disappear. Von Wutenow has, in addition to these little sculptures, he has a catalog of everything he has. Brilliant photographs taken by several professionals over the years.
She is apparently the director of the dancing group. And this is a man, and his features are Totonac. They are not Negroid, but they paint them with chapopote, so it is a warrior who is black. That is also an atavismo because they knew that the Olmecs were black.
You're saying that the Olmec people themselves were black?
No, but this one certainly was black. You see, you can't see. And here is the proof for it. It's one of the best proofs I have. This is a figure made that is between the Olmecan period and the Totonacan period, transition period. And this is an Olmec sculpture, and to be black, they covered it with tar. You see, it's a stone head, but it's covered with this tar. So not only the features and the thick lips come out primitive, but it is made black. This piece was put on the cover of Revista in Mexico in March, and shows you that another colossal Olmec head was found in Mexico, which has not been, in my opinion, I don't know where it is, it's never exhibited. I wonder if they really have excavated it. Of course, you see these, there is the item that the people in Tabasco is one of the provinces here, I mean one of the states, the state, just as Louisiana is a state. And the people in Tabasco don't want it to disappear from their place to Mexico City. And there are frictions between the Instituto de Antropología and the state, you see. And that's why I don't know if they've done in the state something about